Also, Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson. He's still my idol. If I said anybody was greater than me, where is he? Come on, bring him, nigga.
The greatest boxer on planet Earth ever to exist was not only rejected by Sugar Ray Robinson, but Joe Louis also rejected him. However, Sugar Ray Robinson did it twice, according to Muhammad Ali. After achieving success in life, many people forget what it was like when they were first starting out. Somewhere along the way, they forget what it felt like to look up to someone and admire them. Muhammad Ali learned always to make time for his fans. This lesson came from a big disappointment of his own. It was the summer of 1960. The Olympic team gathered in New York City en route Italy. Ali was 18 years old, and for as long as he could remember, he had looked up to Sugar Ray Robinson. The night he arrived in New York, the sports writer Dick Shop took him and some of the other guys up to Sugar Ray's, a nightclub in Harlem that Sugar Ray Robinson owned. Back then, Dick Shop was also just starting out in his career. For some reason, he took a special interest in Ali. He showed him around the city and bought him his first slice of New York cheesecake. Then, when he found out that Ali wanted to meet Sugar Ray Robinson, he arranged a trip to his club for dinner. On the drive up, Ali could remember wondering what color Sugar Ray's Cadillac would be that year. The last one Ali had heard about was pink. He thought about what color his would be when he made it big as a boxer. He thought red would be a nice color. Anyway, the club was on 5th Avenue and 125th Street. He couldn't wait to get there. He wanted to shake Sugar Ray Robinson's hand and tell him how much he admired him. Ali thought that he was the greatest. Sugar Ray was the kind of boxer Ali wanted to be. He was talented, quick on his feet, handsome, and well-dressed. Growing up, he had listened to all his fights on the radio. He used to jump up and down, throwing punches in the air. When they arrived at the club, everyone took a seat and enjoyed the music. People were always shocked when they found out that Ali couldn't dance. But it was true. Outside the ring, Ali's feet would lose their rhythm and grace, and they wouldn't move to the tune. Regardless, he always enjoyed listening to good music, and every now and then he would get up and dance anyway. He didn't get a chance to meet Sugar Ray that night, but he remembered the address of his club as if he were reading it from the outside of the building. As they were leaving, Ali noticed a man standing on the corner of 7th Avenue and 125th Street. He stood out because he was holding up a sign that said, "Buy Black." Ali had never seen any black man in Louisville do something as bold as that. Before they left for Italy, Ali tried again to meet Sugar Ray. He walked all the way up 5th Avenue to 125th Street. He wanted to get his autograph and tell him that he was on his way to the Olympics to win a gold medal and that he was going to be the heavyweight champion of the world by the time he was 21. When Ali arrived at the club, he waited outside all day for Sugar Ray to get there. He didn't mind waiting. He would have stood outside all week if he had to. It was about 10 o'clock when Sugar Ray finally drove up. Ali was so excited that, for the first time in his life, he was speechless. When he pulled himself together, he walked up to Mr. Robinson and told him how far he had come just to see him and how long he had been waiting to get his autograph. Ali told him that he was going to be the heavyweight champion of the whole world and that he was his hero. When Ali thinks back about this incident, he realizes Sugar Ray Robinson never really looked at him. He gave him a quick pat on the shoulder and told him, "Later, boy, I'm busy right now." Ali was crushed. He couldn't believe Robinson brushed him aside like that, especially after he had waited all day for him to show up. He felt as if his feet were made of cement. He couldn't move. He just stood there as he watched Sugar Ray Robinson turn his back to him and walk away. Although Ali felt hurt and let down, he decided that he wouldn't let his disappointment get the best of him. Ali knew at that moment he was going to be different when he became a great boxer. He would be the kind of champion that fans could walk up to and talk to. He would shake their hands and sign every autograph, even signing some in advance, so that when he was in a hurry, he could still hand them out, assuring everyone went home happy. He was going to go out of his way to show his fans how important they were and how much he appreciated them. At that moment, he vowed never to turn a fan away. He didn't want anyone to feel the disappointment and hurt that he had felt that night. He was always going to make time for the people who looked up to him, especially children. He knew that when he became a champion, he wasn't going to forget where he came from. He was going to be his own kind of champion, a champ for all people everywhere in the world. No matter how high he climbed the ladder of success, he was determined to view the world without looking down on anyone. He wasn't going to forget the boy he once was. He had a golden vision, but before any of it could happen, he had to win at the Olympics. On the way to and from Rome, Ali was so afraid of flying that he wore a parachute he had bought at an army store. His plan was to drop to the floor as soon as the plane started shaking, with his parachute ready in his hand so he could jump out and pull the cord if the plane started to go down. After some time on the plane, he managed to distract himself from his fear of flying by talking a lot, and before he knew it, he was in Italy. When he got to the Olympic Village, he walked around introducing himself to people and shaking everybody's hand. He even remembered most of their names. One of his teammates joked that if he had been running for mayor of the Olympic Village, he would have won the election. They all had a good time, and soon Ali became an Olympic gold medalist. When they put the gold medal around his neck, a boxer from Poland who won the silver medal stood on one side of him. Two boxers who shared the bronze medal were on the other side. The flag was waving and the national anthem was playing. At that moment, Ali felt like he had defeated America's so-called enemies. He stood there so proudly for his country. He felt like he had whooped the whole world for America. When he came home from Rome, Joe Louis would have been his first choice as a manager, but Louis didn't like to talk much, didn't appreciate loudmouth, bragging fighters, and predicted that Ali would lose every fight he had. Then, Ali wanted Sugar Ray Robinson as his manager and went to New York to search for him and offer himself as a prospect. Ray was near the end of his career and Ali thought he might like to handle him. When Ali finally cornered Robinson and forced him to notice, Robinson brushed him off. "Look, kid, come back maybe in a couple of years, okay?" All day, Ali followed him around Harlem, dancing, jabbing, shadowboxing, showing him how fast and quick he was. But Sugar Ray Robinson was too busy. Years later, when they became friends, Robinson would shake his head sadly over what might have been if he had taken Ali on. Now, looking back, Ali was glad he didn't. He respected Sugar Ray in the ring as one of the greatest of all time. But he stayed out of what Ali called the real fighting ring, the one where freedom for black people in America takes place. Perhaps if Robinson had become his manager, he might have influenced Ali to go his way. Ali was glad he had no time. Those who did have time for Ali were mostly rich white Southerners. The expectation in Louisville and all through the South was that he would be managed by the millionaire William Reynolds. In fact, when he came home from Rome, he found Reynolds being praised across America for what he was about to do for him. Ali's personal Man Friday and his trainer, Joe Martyn, had arranged for him to stay at Reynolds' private suite at the Waldorf Astoria. Reynolds' man took Ali on his first shopping tour in Manhattan and let him buy $400 worth of watches as gifts for his mother and father. Then he took Ali to a restaurant and said, "All the steaks you can eat." Ali ate 6. However, Muhammad Ali famously turned down William Reynolds' offer of $1 million to promote a Hollywood movie. Reynolds, a producer, approached Ali in the early 1970s with an offer to appear in a film adaptation of the Broadway play Buck White. Despite the substantial sum, Ali declined, as he was deeply focused on his boxing career and personal beliefs at the time. Why would any normal Kentucky boy who wanted to get ahead in boxing turn down a millionaire benefactor with the generosity, affluence, and connections of William Reynolds? This incident highlights Ali's integrity and his prioritization of what he valued most, his sport, activism, and faith. In a way, Ali's relationship with Billy Reynolds was the hidden turning point. It was Martyn who first wanted to be Ali's manager and came with a contract. In all the years he trained him, it was the only time he visited Ali's house. "Well, here it is," he said, and dropped the contract into Ali's father's hands. His dad wanted to have a lawyer look at it, but Martyn said it had to be signed immediately. It guaranteed Ali $75 a week for 10 years. He wanted to take it because he was making so little money at the time. But Ali's father screamed, "Nobody buys my son for $75 a week for 10 years. The slave trade is over." After Ali's father rejected Martyn, it was the Louisville sponsoring group that started managing Ali. This group, consisting of 11 wealthy white businessmen from Ali's hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, recognized Ali's potential after his Olympic victory and formed to finance and guide his professional boxing career. After Ali's conversion to Islam and his name changed to Muhammad Ali in 1964, the relationship grew strained. The group was uncomfortable with Ali's affiliation with the Nation of Islam, and Ali wanted to manage his career independently. Shortly after, Herbert Muhammad, aligned with the Nation of Islam, took over as his primary manager.
So he said tonight, Herbert Muhammad, come out, where you at? Herbert Muhammad. Also, Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson. He's still my idol. If I said anybody was greater than me, where is that? Come on, bring him, make it. Sugar Ray Robinson. I'm not feeling because he's not the champ now, and he's going where people don't know him that much this generation. God will punish me if I don't give credit where it's due. It was this man that inspired me watching him fight. I mean, he had a style. He was pretty. Let me tell you something. Pretty about him. Every time he come in this corner, he had men combing his hair. So thank you everybody for everything.